Hello and welcome to Talking Defense, Rafael's Defense magazine. Every program will be dedicated to a different subject with all relevant experts, data, and aspects here in the studio and from around the world. Today, Iron Dome. Joining me today, Reserve Brigadier General Pini Jungmann, Executive VP General Manager, ABMDS Division at Rafael. And from the US joins me Colonel Eric Brown, CTO of RSGS. Gentlemen, thank you very much both for joining me today. Mr. Jungmann, we've seen the first delivery of Iron Dome to the US. Tell us about that.
Actually, it was a great situation to deliver the first battery to the U.S. after a very short time from the purchase order, from the decision to the delivery of the first battery. Actually, it was about a year, 1 year from initiation to the delivery, and we are waiting to the next step to deliver the second battery in a few months from now. We are ready to stick to the time to deliver the second battery, and I can tell you that it was a record to be on time with the first battery, fit to the U.S. vehicles, as you see in the video, as you see in the photos. It's not the vehicles and the tracks that we are using in Israel, but actually it's fit to the needs and the requirements of the U.S. Army, as you see.
Pini, as we well know, Iron Dome is a highly classified system. All knowledge was delivered to the American Defense Forces in order to be able to use it properly?
Actually, yes. All the requirements and all the questions and the technical data that was asked by the U.S. Army with the Israeli Ministry of Defense, IMDO support. We send the technical data as was required by the Army. So since the relations between the U.S. and Israel is so close relations, especially in military areas, so it was actually easy to support and to share with the U.S. Army all the details that they need for using the Iron Dome system.
Eric Brown, has the system landed in the U.S. already?
No, not at the time. I know the U.S. Army is anxiously awaiting the arrival and the integration of the Iron Dome system into their layered defense system to ensure integration. Iron Dome will be a great add. It's a perfect capability for the U.S. Army layered missile defense strategy.
For what purposes exactly? Because obviously it won't defend LA or New York. I mean, the U.S. Army will use it somewhere else.
That's correct. The current plan for Iron Dome will not be initially for homeland defense, but more in a strategical deployed role. And once the integration is proven, which it is certain will be interoperable, then we will look how Iron Dome could potentially be integrated into homeland defense systems as well.
Pini Jungmann, back to you. We've seen Iron Dome's development since 2006, after the second Lebanon war here in Israel, up till now. Tell us a bit about that process, because at the beginning it was against a very short-range missiles, but it has expanded largely ever since.
Yes, actually, we won in the competition with the Iron Dome. Many competitors took part in the competition, and the Ministry of Defense chose to develop the Iron Dome. It was less than 4 years of development. It's really a record from scratch to be able to deploy the system. And actually, the first interception, operational interception, was in April 2011, almost 10 years ago. And I can share with you that since then, we are not sitting and waiting to see what will happen in the other side, in our enemy side. But every day, we are investing a lot of effort to develop and to upgrade the system. We are assuming what will be the next generation, the next threat, what is the other side, what are developing to aim and to threat the country of Israel, the civilians in Israel, and we are upgrading the system. So since the first deployment and the first combat or operational interception in April 2011, the system is totally different, meaning the capabilities, the performance. If we started by interception short-range rockets up to 70 kilometers, it was a requirement at the beginning. I can tell you that we are not dealing today with the performance and capabilities to intercept only rockets, but many and other threats that aiming to hit the area that we want to defend, various threats.
So
Pini,
one of those threats currently, which is becoming bigger and bigger around the world, are drones of all kinds. How does this system deal with this threat?
If you're talking about micro drones, we have a different system because we will not launch interceptor against micro or mini UAV like you mentioned here. We have the drone system. It's actually a different system, light system, not the interceptors, but different system that we call it soft kill and hard kill. Soft kill by jamming or controlling the communication or other options.
Mr. Brown, back to you in the U.S. The U.S. Army suffers lots of attacks, mainly in the Middle East. We see it in Iraq. We see it in other battlefields. Do you see Iron Dome actually being active over there, an Israeli system?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. This is a perfect fit with respect to the gap. The Army is looking for an overlapping missile defense system, and Iron Dome fits right in that gap between tactical short-range missiles and then the high-range. Iron Dome will allow you to address the counter-UAS groups 2 and 3 drones as well as cruise missiles. So it overlaps into the low end and then overlaps into the Army's capability with Patriot missile systems. So it's a perfect fit into the space in which the Army needs to ensure overlaying missile defense systems.
Mr. Jungmann, talk to me a bit about the future of Iron Dome. Has it reached its limits, or maybe we're going to see a totally new system within 5, 10, 15 years?
I can assure you that as you said, I can assure you that we're not sitting, I don't want to say, but we're not sitting and waiting. We will continue to develop the system. It's not the end. It's not. We didn't get to the limit of the performance of the system, and we continue to develop. We see in the next years more capabilities, better performance, and actually dealing with or capabilities to deal with future threats and more complicated threats.
So tell me one secret. I'm curious to know, how does the system exactly spots the threat, the sky spotter?
I can tell you that we are using various sensors, not only RF sensors, but we are using also electro-optical sensors. It means that we have redundancy and we have capabilities to defeat any kind of threat 360 degrees around the defended area. This is the idea, to use few kinds of sensors, not only RF sensors, but EOS sensors with the best accuracies that we can get. And what you see in the video, how we are doing it and how we are sharing the sensor, how we are sharing the detection between few sensors and few kind of sensors.
Yes, and last question, Mr. Jungmann, do you see in the future, maybe it's a long shot, but do you see we have the winds of peace in the Middle East? Do you see such a system being sold or delivered, for example, to the UAE?
I don't see why not, okay? I don't see why not, and I hope that, of course, with the Israeli government support, we will be able to get to this point. But I need to mention two very important things, Yoav. First of all, the support that we are getting from the government, from IMDO, and second, the best and the good, very good relations that we have with our partner Raytheon, not only in Iron Dome, but also we developed together the David Sling system, of course, and we are producing the David Sling system. And many years in the last years, Raytheon playing as the prime in the U.S. and also producing the Iron Dome interceptor. Actually, I can tell you that more than 30 vendors taking part in the U.S. under Raytheon as a prime, producing the Iron Dome interceptor in the U.S. And in the last year, we actually initiated the JV R2S, and we are planning to produce all around. It means that we will produce Iron Dome interceptors and launchers in the U.S. by and through the JV that we initiated.
So Eric Brown, last word about that cooperation between Israel and the U.S. from the beginning up till now in Iron Dome, and not only.
Yes, the partnership with Raytheon and Rafael has opened doors. There's other partnerships with U.S. companies as well that has brought Rafael's proven technology to the U.S. to really provide that added punch that's needed in the areas technologically that we may be falling behind in, specifically AI, machine learning, the use of the sensors as Penny spoke about, and really to bring it in. And those companies have worked together with Rafael to bring that technology that is needed as the world becomes more dangerous.
Penny Jungmann, Eric Brown, thank you very much both for joining me today. And that's all from us today. We'll be back shortly with another edition of Talking Defense. Until then, stay safe and stay tuned. Bye-bye.